Hello and welcome to the Pro Detailer podcast. We are back with another celebrity guest. We are spoiling everybody at the moment. And this celebrity guest has come all the way from Essex. He comes complete in a very smart car. He comes with a very smart beard. He's got lovely hair.
Working for me so far. Sounds good.
That's work. Why don't you introduce yourself, sir?
Okay, I'm Simon Walters, Cambridge Concours, as you both know. Been around far too long. Done a bit of everything, and I think we're here to sort of talk about a bit of it today.
You look far too young for the amount of time you've been around.
Thank you.
Yeah, it is unfair because your age starts with a 4, doesn't it?
It most definitely does.
Which is
and
outrageous.
as from next week, has a 2 on the end of it as well.
Ouch.
Yes, unfortunate, isn't it? I was born in the 70s.
Yeah. Fortunate for you, look at the rest of us.
Yeah. I look like the oldest person around the table despite being the youngest. And obviously we are joined with Mr. Ian of Seeley.
Hello.
To add a bit of spice, intrigue, interest and humour into what could potentially otherwise be quite staid.
I'm using chemical, mineral names as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So before we came in, I announced that there is a mineral called Coming Tonight, which they found funny for some reason.
Brilliant. Yeah, it's fantastic.
No.
More of a question.
I'm taking it home with me anyway. Yeah, it's good. It's good.
Darling, guess what?
I've got you a present.
Again, I'm taking that with me. As well. Brilliant.
So what I wanted to talk about really, well, first of all, is to talk about Simon and about the background of Cambridge Concours, because the weird thing is he's actually based in Elsenham at the moment, which isn't Cambridge. In fact, it's not even Cambridgeshire. It's Essex.
It's on the border of Cambridgeshire.
It's Essex.
It is Essex. It's not far from CB postcode.
No, but that's like saying that we're not far from America. I mean, relatively speaking, compared to Pluto.
Yeah, true. Yeah,
it's like Skoda, not really being made in Germany by VW.
Absolutely.
It's a very good car still.
Yeah, it's a good brand. Cambridge is a good brand as well, isn't it?
It's a good sounding thing. I always think of Cambridge Audio.
Cambridge Audio.
It's very
Absolutely.
Being from Essex, I'm allowed to say it sounds better than being from Essex.
Yeah. There you go.
I'm from the really crap part of Essex. So.
Well, no, it's got a gravitas, hasn't it? It's like the second best university town in the country. It's well established.
Officially, it's the first, isn't it?
No.
Yeah, Trinity. Trinity's number 1 now, I believe.
I think the metrics are all wrong. But let's not
I thought you were talking about the University of East Anglia for a minute.
APU. Yeah.
Well, UEA.
Yeah.
UEA. I fitted screens to walls in UEA and it felt like a prison complex. It was bizarre. Absolutely
humble
bizarre.
brag.
Yeah.
It's as big as you're going to get, which is what I said.
So it worked well as a brand. When I was coming up with the name for it, I came up with a load of names actually at the time because we were starting to go in various different directions. I came up with South Cams Customs and stuff like that. We were going in all sorts of roads. And
South Cams Customs. Yeah,
Camshaft.
That's a different
that was already taken.
Yeah. So, but then I sat down with a friend of mine who was a marketing specialist, and I sort of sold him what the dream was for Cambridge Concours, which luckily is where we've kind of ended up at, which is fortunate. And between us, we came up with that as a brand and as the emblem and what it is now as a business.
Because you also do products, or you certainly did products.
We do products. It's not something we've got into in a big way. We work with a group of manufacturers. I actually made the first balm that's still the one that we produce now.
So just to give a bit of background, most of the products are leather.
Very much interior
based.
related, yes. Yeah. So I worked on the balm after I'd had an accident. I had a lot of time at home. I
remember you fell off a ladder or something.
No, I slipped on a path and broke my hip.
Oh,
yeah,
like an old person would.
Literally, just like an old. Yeah. When I was in hospital, the first day I was in there after my op, the nurse that walked in pointed at me and went, "You're too young to be in here," and I was by about 40 or 50 years, I think, at the time. So I had a bit of time at home, so I researched. I started following a lady on Instagram that made saddle balms and stuff like that in America, and got all the raw materials off Amazon, I think, at the time.
Wow!
And just started putting stuff together, and I made a pretty competent balm after a while, and I was struggling to stop it turning back into oil on the shelf. So I gave it to Dodo Juice, and they reconfigured it, used the same base materials, but did it properly because that's what they do.
They've got chemists, haven't they?
So they actually know what they're doing.
And a really big KitchenAid.
Yes, and not someone just buying stuff on Amazon like me. Yes. So they did that, and which has been brilliant. And then we put another small group of products together. And when we took it to Waxstock and a few other places, it got very well received, a few magazines as well. But in the end, I saw how much it took to actually bring a product line to market and keep it there. And it made me realise it's not what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
I wanted to become what we are now, which is more of a restoration business, spliced with a detailing business.
Yeah. Well, that's something we're going to talk about is that line between detailing and restoration, because I think it's a fascinating topic. But when you started, remind me, did you actually start in Cambridge?
Yes. Yeah. Started in Cambridge.
There is a lineage to it.
Yeah, very much so. And I'm from Cambridge, so.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
And so you're getting defensive about being the second best university town.
Absolutely. Yeah.
No, I understand that. now. So when did you explain brief history of kind of how it went, because how it all started and how long ago that was?
So first job in the motor trade, 1997.
God,
Worked.
I was still at primary school.
Okay, I'll forget that. Edit that bit out. That was for Alamo National Car and Van Rental.
Yeah.
Just
So
working.
it's not because you were that's a long time ago. It's just you were held back.
I was held back a long way. Yeah.
Redoing the final year for the fifth time.
He was very awkward as a 15-year-old
with his teacher.
still doing colouring in.
Yeah, just service washing and stuff like that. And even then, that's more than I knew. I mean, at the time, just learning from those guys, base chemicals and stuff like that. Then I came back into the industry in 2003. My father-in-law, actually, he had some nice cars and looked after them himself. And he introduced me to Autoglym for the first time. And I was amazed at what they did. I'd never seen anything to that level, because having only done service washing before, it was barrels of generic chemicals. And that really opened my eyes probably first to really what you could do. And then I started playing with stuff, just trying to push the boundaries with certain products and certain techniques. And it got to the phase where the company I was working for at the time were closing their offices in Cambridge. And I took the plunge and started my own balloting business, mobile.
Cool.
Yeah, built up around.
What was your first van?
My first van was
it a Bedford?
Fiat Scudo.
Oh,
Awesome one as well.
Good. I like a Scudo because they're so butt ugly.
Yeah.
Is that they're kind of, oh no, that's a Doblo. I'm going to mix up the fit.
Same van, isn't it, I think?
Is it? No, I think the Scudo's one bigger.
Doblo's the smaller one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like a wedge of cheese.
Yes.
Yeah, it was the same as the Peugeot and the Citroen.
the older Berlingos.
Yes. Yeah. Good, reliable though. Like never had a problem with it. It was pretty bulletproof actually, and it took weight well. But I remember getting luckily. I remember getting that van and thinking, everyone I knew that did it at the time around London and sort of, no, not really in Cambridge, there wasn't really anyone doing it around there. They all went out with a hose and an extension lead. And I thought, how do you get out of these business parks properly? And so I spoke to a couple of lads that I knew that did windows in the city. And they said, well, just get an 1,000-litre IBC. And I thought, well, that's a bit more than I want to carry. It doesn't seem very practical.
Doesn't strap on the roof very well.
Doesn't strap on. Can't drag it behind in a trailer. So I went to a plastics company and had them custom build me one with baffles that had support so you could drill into the chassis.
Nice.
And we kitted it all out and it worked well. Yeah.
That's cool. And then, so when did you move into your unit?
Well, so that's when we got to the stage where customers started asking for stuff we didn't offer.
Yeah.
So people would be like, well, can't you get my wheels refurbished? Can't we get our dents done? Can't you?
Happy endings.
Happy endings, yeah, which we were fine with.
I was about to say with his face.
There was less markup. So we had to find something that was actually going to make us money as well, and getting the jollies out of the way. So I looked into a facility, and we were flying at that point. We had loads of customers, loads of good customers as well. So we moved into the facility, and from there, I kind of started learning more about the real detailing side of it. It's when I met Don as well at Dodo Juice.
So that must have been 2006?
2009. 2009, yeah. 2008, 2009. We opened the first facility end of 2009, early 2010.
Yeah.
Yeah. So at that stage, we just started, again, pushing the boundaries in different areas, taking machine polishing into finishing, fine finishing. And that's where the leather came from, actually, because we were starting to get people coming in for scuffs and bits and bobs, but trying to find anyone was impossible. And I think there was one guy that used to cover Cambridge and Essex who came from Norwich. And everyone knew him, and he was brilliant. And he, as a single small business, he was not interested in coming to us. So I spoke with a couple of Ferrari specialists that I knew that had been in the industry for about 30 odd years. They told me about Fenice, and that was where that journey sort of started. So the unit was a constant, and still probably is a constant evolving process and learning process.
Yeah, so it wasn't that long ago when you got your unit on Jenkins Drive, the same kind of estate as the Dodo Empire and the Starnagloss Empire.
Yep.
And then you ended up, next time I came across, and you had suddenly doubled in size.
Yes.
You've got 2 units. And tell us about the latest development, if you want to.
Yeah, okay. We haven't signed on the dotted line with it yet, but it's pretty much done. So we found a facility close by because it's worked for us in the local area, and we've been there 4 years in that particular estate. So it's people are used to where we are now. So it's a few miles up the road. It's a 5,000 square foot facility, very nice. That's going to have an element of storage for existing clients only, but it's predominantly going to be a restoration facility. So it's going to have clean rooms for PPF, clean rooms for ceramics, lifts for various aspects of what we do as well, under ceiling, which will go into the classic side of what we do. We're going to have an extraction room for paint for classic resto, and then an upholstery department. So we'll, as we move with it and we sort of generate funds to build new areas within it, we're going to build storage for classic car interiors so that we can pre-plan them years in advance if we need to, if we want to drop them off. Patterning rooms for fabrics, and then where I actually make the seats, and then an installation area.
Which is really cool. I mean, yeah. You were saying there's a bit of scalability. There's a space nearby, which
the same space again, almost just over, so that might become storage only if we take over the area for just workshop, which most people that have been in the industry much longer than I have seem to think will happen naturally. Yeah. Which I think makes sense. Yeah. I think you have a space, you tend to fill it, don't you? Yeah. And as long as you're constantly on never being happy with what you do for a job, and then you tend to stay busy, don't you? Like if you're always disappointed with what you've produced. But then you get over the hill. I was talking to somebody, I can remember who I was talking to recently. It was a guy who's just leaving the industry, and he was saying he's really just trying to find the quickest route to retirement now. I understand that. I mean, it's... he's in his early 50s, mind, so he's a good one step couple of years old from me. Yeah, no, I get that. I'm the thing I'm looking forward to now. I'm still learning with the trimming. Yeah. I can put an interior together now, so I've come a long way in the decade that I've been playing with it. But I'm looking forward to now creating this next facility that isn't based around me so much and is more around training the future of the business, and then overseeing it. And because I already see it within the business when I have people that work alongside me, like Richard and Matt, where they'll come up against something they're not sure about, and I can just step in and go, "Oh no, so, just do this." And then walk them through it, and the next time it's something else they've taken on, So, rather than chasing my tail all the time, actually taking the knowledge I've been fortunate enough to acquire and
spreading it out.
Yeah.
So absolutely. You can basically do longer holidays in Barbados and stuff like that.
Absolutely. Yeah. I can FaceTime them and go, I can see you can get that scratch out, no problem.
Work harder. So have you got like a new equipment list you want to buy? A big long list of stuff. Because I know you're. Do you call it a sewing machine, or it's just stitcher or something like that? But that's I remember when I came down before, you were saying that this was a really old machine, but it's a really old one because it's the best one out there, and they're ridiculously hard to get hold of. Yes,
very much so. And I've just managed to source last week a new Singer machine, which is same era as the one I've got, the Mitsubishi. And I'm having a custom that you can't buy what I need. So a guy up north makes them from scratch, and it's a specific timber block that fits to your machine with a few bits of raw metal in it that you feed through, and it carpet edges like original, like old Rolls Royces, old Bentleys. You fold the vinyl over the edge and you run it through the machine, and it just edges it for you. That's cool. Because at the moment I hand bind everything, which is fine. It looks great, but when you start getting to Concours stuff, and it's, if you're going to be attending Villa d'Este and stuff like that,
they're going to be measuring the distance between the stitches.
Absolutely, it's got to look as it did, So so that's the next machine that's coming, and again, that's taken years to find one of those. So, but they do pop up. You just get to know the traders that deal in stuff like that. So,
well, there is the thing. I remember, when I was back at school, we had a lathe, and the lathe I think was from the 50s or something like that.
Well, it's like what's the English wheel as well? You see, where they're used for making panels.
Well, the best one's microwaves. If you're going to have a microwave from the 80s, because they were literally built to be bomb-proof.
Yes.
Yeah. Well,
we were a little bit unsure of the technology still. Radiation. Can we have a lead door on that instead?
well, it's funny you say that. I had a Philips DigiCube, which you might remember back in where I used to be.
You're all about the brags today, aren't you?
Yeah, I know. It was a hand-me-down 4 times over because my parents used to have it like years and years ago, and then it went to different family members. I inherited it, and my mum annoyingly had read some sort of article about how dangerous old microwaves are.
Yes.
And she came over and replaced it without me with some rubbishy Tesco, other ones are also rubbish, thing that you can't fit your microwave rice in, which
about
£12.50
or something like that.
Yeah, well, 20, 30 quid or something. I was furious. And then, and the thing weighed an absolute ton. And it is this
probably
thing.
She's just stolen it and took it back home for herself.
No. Honestly, she'll read something in a magazine, and then suddenly it's the new thing. You know, I'm just worried that she'll turn up vegan next day or something like that because she's read some story about it. Yeah. But anyway, my point being is about how old tools are good tools.
Absolutely. Well,
we're talking about the microwave.
I thought you were talking about me for a second.
And the lathe and the rest of it.
But I use old Osborne. Osborne are the best trimming hand tools that I've come across anyway. You buy them from like Weber or Osborne. And a lot of the ones I've bought are used, and they're 20 years, 30 years old, and they're still better than anything you buy brand new.
Yeah.
They're brilliant, but you pay for them. Yeah, a hammer's 80 quid.
Well, it's like chefs, isn't it? They have old. I mean, well, speaking of chefs as well, but I've seen one who had very expensive knives, and he would literally get resharpened to the point where there's nothing left on the metal, and that's when he got rid of it.
Yeah. I used to have carbon steel Sabatiers. And Sabatiers used to be the old wedding gift when you speak of them, but they were some of the best knives out there.
Yeah.
You just had to clean the rust off them once a day. Sometimes.
Well, it probably
adds the flavour.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, well, I got some, I don't know, not Dorlinkins, I can't remember what they are, but they're some stainless steel knives, and they look pretty. But
you got Vostok Tridents.
Blooming beautiful. Oh, no, the ones in there.
Yeah.
No, I'm talking different ones, which are just Morphy Richards, I think, and they are. They look really cool. They're like proper throwing knives.
Yeah.
But
any knife's a throwing knife if you're determined.
That's true.
Yeah, but it's got a kind of nice balance to it and all the rest of it. But no, they're blooming useless as knives. They go blunt really quick, and they just
You're
don't
supposed to sharpen them quite regularly, though, aren't you?
I spend a lot of time sharpening.
Yeah.
I sharpen them in the front window of the house as well, so the neighbours can see.
With just a small red light under your chin.
Exactly. Yeah, it just keeps.
Unfortunately, his hands are below the window ledge, so they're not exactly sure what he's doing.
I find it very satisfying.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah.
Anyway, detailing.
Yeah. So, what is kind of interesting now? When nowadays detailing, certainly from my point of view, what I see the majority of work that goes through is either, say, a new car protection, or where you do a 1 or 2 stage polish, having done your full wash and decon, you then put a ceramic coat on it, jobs are good, and you move it on.
Yep.
But I think in the olden days there was more focus on this. By olden days, I mean early 2010s, probably. Yeah. And I think there are still lots.
Love that. That's the olden days.
The days of yore.
Feels like yesterday.
It was before full HD. Actually, no, it wasn't. It was just before I had full HD.
Yeah.
The feudal system was in full swing then.
Oh, hell yes. My favourite donkey. I've
seen pictures.
No, that's my ass.
No, how is that better?
But the point being is that when it comes to doing a restoration, it's not just about the paint. It's about, as you say, the interior, but it's about all the really little details that you see. And it always brings me back to an R32 that we featured in one of the previous issues of the magazine. I think it could have been 4 or 5, something like that. And a guy called Afagula, who's now working for one of the big NVN in there. But
oh, yeah.
Lovely guy, but he did this massive write-up for us. And this car had been left standing for a while. It was an import, obviously, and he went to such lengths on it. Like, for example, taking the cam cover off and re-crackle coating it.
Yeah.
Taking all the trim strips off, polishing underneath, and putting the new ones back on.
That's the extent you go to if it's for a concourse. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And that's just it. Is this kind of concourse preparation? I think is almost lost focus because there are more detailers now doing more fairly mundane jobs.
Yeah,
there's less. I don't know. It seems much more exciting.
The other thing with concourse as well is that so much of a true concourse, at least, is based on originality. Do you have a lot of your if you're doing, say, a retrim on a tombstone or something like that? Do you try and just repair patches of it at times to keep originality if requested, or is it?
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, it is. It's very much requirement of the client because some of the older techniques like hand tacking over stapling takes time. And
budgets do come into it at the end of the day.
Budgets always come into it, really. And until you get to the point where you're doing real concourse stuff. You know, if we're just quoting a concourse on a TR6 at the moment and the numbers are coming in astronomical.
How much is the TR6 worth nowadays?
Well, so it depends who you speak to. It's
TR6 owners. It's always
TR6 owners seem to think they're worth a fortune. I've been told this week that a Concours TR6 can be 75.
Okay.
I don't think I've ever seen a TR for that, but
my dad's got a 4.
Yeah,
I think that's insured at around 30, 35.
I would have said that's
that's an acceptable.
But then also when you and I'm trying to find a real line at the moment with this guy to what does he want a Concours car or does he just want an awesome car? Because they are very.
Or does he want
different.
to win a show and shine?
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. Because a Concours car with that vehicle is an engine out, chassis apart, taking removable panels off.
Well, it'll mostly crumble apart quite easily. It's
you pretty blow on it, it'll fall apart. Yeah, you can just remake it out of cardboard and stuff. But
still stiffer than before.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's true. So Concours is. It took me a long time to understand really what Concours actually was. We did one 2 weeks ago, and we were using straight edges to line up the headlights and just undoing bolts and pulling them in so that they were at the same angle. And number plates lined up and painting nuts that had been replaced on suspension.
It's something Rich always talks about. It's getting all the screw heads in the same direction.
No, it's not all in the same direction though, because if you look at Rolls-Royce, they actually have schematics of which way the screws are supposed to point.
Yeah, I can believe that. Yeah. I can absolutely believe that. Yeah,
but that's keen. There's a restoration company up near us, Thornley's, and we went in there once, and the guy was mocking up something on CAD in front of him, and what's that? He's like, this is just some bolts for an Alfa Romeo we got in. Okay, why don't you just buy them in? It's like, we can't get them with the numbers right on the top, so we're having to just make them.
Yeah. Sounds about right.
Yeah. Weren't like important bolts; they were all hidden kind of things. Yeah. But that's the extent that.
Well, if you know, you know.
That's the thing. Absolutely. Yeah, it's crazy. We use stove polish now quite a lot.
Yeah,
it's amazing how much that gets used for old pipes and stuff for Concours, and it's amazing how effective it is as well, actually.
Mm-hmm. And you need to also, what I quite like about Concours is you need to have a lot of car knowledge, and people on the whole kind of stick to a couple brands that they know. I know you're tight with a Rolls-Royce Bentley crew and that sort of thing. They probably wouldn't refer to themselves as a crew, but
I like to see them as a crew.
A bunch, or the boys.
Yes, maybe the Porsche guys that we
the unsolid crew.
The unsolid crew. The Wallaroo crew. But the thing is that because cars, particularly older cars, have been around for so long, in their lifespan, they may well have been modified or just repaired incorrectly and stuff like that. So you need to be in a position where you can look at a car and go, right, well, that's not how it should be.
You almost need to be like model specific.
Yeah.
But you can only get a lot of that info from the owners a lot of the time.
Yeah.
You have to sort of draw.
There's that one guy on the forum that you have to call.
Absolutely.
Always.
Yeah. And I'm
Terry.
When I'm around, always Terry. Yeah. When I'm around those sorts of guys, I'm conscious to just shut up and just listen, because it's invaluable, because eventually those guys will be gone, and therefore that knowledge needs to be kept for that reason.
Yeah, so that's
someday somebody will think your knowledge of S8s is actually valuable. That will happen.
Well, I say
if we live long enough.
In the Subaru, well, it is when you're a kind of when you know your model. So for me, I kind of know, but by no means as much as any experts around, and there are a couple. You know kind of that much detail. You almost want to start talking about it just to kind of feel valued, because there is, as Ian says, nobody really wants to know about it. But I had a chap who just bought a Subaru, and he was buying some bits off me. And his interior was a weird double colour, and there were bits and bobs wrong with it. And he didn't know much about it. And he was asking all sorts of questions, and I suddenly found myself being able to answer them.
Yeah.
And go, that's this one. I was in Terry mode, so to speak.
Takes years to get to Terry mode as well.
Did your adenoids flare up?
Well, they never really come down. I have to hold my breath before these podcasts so I don't sound too anal. And it is that when you get into the Concours thing in the scene, I know a couple other detailers who are like yourself in terms of doing the high-end Concours stuff, and they are all experts in a particular field. And I just think there's something you can kind of have a real passion about. And I'm trying to remember, there was a detailer who specifically, is it Keith Flynn, I think, the car carrier, who's a massive Ford man.
Yeah.
He's up Essex way and all.
Yeah.
And he does some really great work on things like Fords and stuff, and that's his zone.
Yeah, you understand why people go specific.
What would you say is the model you know the most about? Because you had a little flutter of 928. Didn't you?
And you're pagodering yourself a lot as well.
I like pagodas. Yeah. We tend to do. We've probably done
camper vans.
No, never done camper vans.
I thought you did one for Chefy Boy.
When was that?
Don't know if I can say it out loud.
Oh no! That was our audio. The audio guys we use.
I thought you were retrimming the interior for it.
No. He did the whole inside of one for it, but the audio guys, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So no, we don't, not camper vans.
What is your mastermind model subject?
928s we've done a number of now and know well. Pagodas, and SLs. We've had a patch of that. That was through our work we did with Hilton and Moss, because they do so many Mercedes. And again, we've drawn information from them as well, which has helped.
Have you had to take the rear screen out of a 928?
No,
because that must be terriifying.
I've had to take the rear screen out of an E-Type, which was equally terrifying.
Everyone makes E-Type stuff now.
Yeah, I don't fancy breaking one of those. I don't think it'd be that quick to get one. But it was horrible putting it back in. I remember that much.
Yeah,
it's the old string round the rubber trick.
Yeah, then you've got to drive it afterwards.
Yeah. So I don't know. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, 928s.
So 928 Owners Club, if you're listening.
Yes,
get in touch. His name's Simon.
944s. We've done quite a number of now. Targas, the earlier Targas, sort of 80s, 70s, 80s Targas. We've done a number of whole interiors.
Spot for 944s as well. They were always the cheap Porsche when I was growing up.
It was 924s were the cheap ones.
No, they were the Audi engine one, weren't they?
As well.
You were 924 had a
for the last of the trans.
I thought they had an Audi.
Yeah, one of them had an Audi engine.
Yeah, I was going to say, because that's what's made them less desirable.
I think, it's a 2.4, isn't it? Yeah. And then the 4.4 had a proper porker, but it was a 4-banger, because they did a 2.5 4-banger, which is actually quite high capacity. And I think they did a 3-litre 4-banger. I'm not a Porsche person, but I'm pretty sure it's a 3-litre 4-banger in the Club Sports.
Right, okay.
Which were yellow sometimes.
Nice.
Which, if you listen to this podcast fairly often, you'll remember me as the guy who thought Bad Boys in the 993 was 1980s.
Yeah, we had an argument of 964 versus 993.
Right.
It didn't end well for Ian. But anyway, so the whole thing.
Pretty car.
It is a very pretty car, and not from the 80s. Did you know?
No. It's one of my
fun fact for you there.
Rolls Royce and Bentley as well.
Yeah,
got to know a lot of those well. Nice to work on.
I think you don't need to be model specific with those. You need to be more the guy who puts it together in the factory specific. Oh yeah, the Roberts ones. Yeah, send him over.
Well, the good thing is for those as well is if you've taken apart a Rolls Royce from that era of a certain model, it's the same as a Bentley.
Because with Rolls Royce, there's entire little secret languages with them, like the pinstriping and the tassels and everything. That all says something about the car itself.
Very much, very much. And again, the owners are so important. To listen to when it comes to that, but they all have the movable armrests on the door cards. That have like a silver runner behind them, and they're identical on all of that era of Porsche and Rolls Royce. So the door cards come apart in exactly the same way. So they're again, once you've done them a few times, you sort of learn what's going on.
Until you get the one that's been stuck on with no more nails by some guy in the past,
which definitely happens. Yeah, that happens for sure. But nice to work on.
I think we're going to take a little pause, but I think the what next would be cool is talking about what's fun about detailing. I think it follows on quite nicely. So we'll be back very shortly. Hello, everybody. I hope you've been enjoying this Pro Detailer Magazine podcast. I just wanted to take a moment to remind you that Christmas is around the corner and we offer the subscription which you can gift. It won't break the bank, and all you have to do is order a subscription on the website and put the delivery address to be that of your friend or family member. The website is prodetailermagazine.com and it shouldn't take more than a couple minutes to sort out. Anyhow, back to the podcast. And we're back. I wanted to talk with Simon, our celebrity guest, about what.
Good job, really. It's a podcast.
Yeah, it's handy, isn't it?
That's helpful.
Wanted to, but just went off on a tangent.
Start talking about things.
Thought we'd draw it instead.
Well, I have to admit, I apologise to everyone. I'm a bit emotional because I just found out that my Subaru Forester's failed its MOT. But most bizarrely, it was suggested that to fix the emissions, they should just change the engine oil, which I've never heard before.
No,
just taking the metal bits out.
Yeah.
That's
so
interesting one.
If I break down in tears, that's what it is. But no, Simon, I want to ask, what kind of you live an interesting life as a detailer. I think perhaps one of all the detailers I know, and I know literally hundreds, you have the most fun that I can think of, because you're always either at Goodwood or you're at some like member meet. You hold your own events at the current place, and they're really well subscribed. I've seen some drone photos, and it looks like you blocked up most of the town.
We did, it's fun.
Which is always fun to do, And obviously you do quite a lot of work with media, with Porsche magazines, and with Rolls-Royce magazines.
Done some stuff with Rolls-Royce mag,
So what in your kind of celebrity life as a detailer, should we say, what do you enjoy doing most?
I like the variation. I like the opportunity to be able to come and do stuff like this. I don't know. Obviously, I've only
yachting around the world, private
absolutely,
jets.
yeah. That's the day-to-day stuff.
Well, you do. I mean, you were trying to. You invited me over to Italy at some point to go and have a look at some leather dyeing things.
We're still going to do that at some point.
Yeah.
So we were going to go to Montepulciano to go to some of the tanneries. I wanted to get a better understanding of how the hides were treated, and then we were going to go across to Milan and go to the Fenice factory and go and see the dyes being made as well.
Yeah.
So it was a trip.
Well, that's interesting. As it happens, we're not far away from going to Italy ourselves to go
to Milan.
To Milan, of all places.
Maybe do a joint trip.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, unfortunately, last time we went to Milan, it was like a week before COVID kind of thing. We may have brought it back and infected the entire country, frankly. So
my plan was to be there at the end of March last year.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So and I was very much going to book it and just go, because I was going to go and do the factory tour in Montepulciano with one of the guys that brings a lot of the hides into the UK.
Where is Montepulciano?
Southern Italy.
Oh, crikey. Okay. So
yeah. So we were going to go, from what I understand, anyway.
Right.
Yeah, don't quote me on that, just in case.
Okay, well, we'll have a Google before we turn up.
We can recut this, can't we? I'll go have a look at a map quick.
like the heel kind of area, though.
I'm not sure.
I don't think much goes on right now.
I've not been to that bit of Italy before. And it's really nice. And
I'd like to do more Italy.
Yeah.
It's fantastic, doesn't it?
It is. It's one of my favourite countries.
I've done most of the West Coast, and I've never. You did a lot of the lakes and stuff, didn't you?
Yeah, done we go on these sort of mad old people walking holidays, and thankfully as a qualified winter,
I do like Italy.
I can go out with a first aid kit and just make sure all I do is just a head count at the airport when we go out and a head count when we come back, and as long as they all look old, I've done my job.
Happy days.
And I had a free holiday trotting around at 1 mile an hour. So,
lovely.
Yeah,
sounds good.
Yeah,
it's good. Worse things.
Yeah. But anyway, so you enjoyed the variation of it all.
Yeah, and I don't know how many industries, because I've only worked in a few, where you get to meet that range of different people.
Yes.
Which is
Spectrum, I think it's called.
Yeah. It's that's been fun over the years. It's and not from a necessary celebrity point of view, more just what some people do for jobs. It's just insane.
It's big. I mean, if they've got money to do that sort of thing, they're either they're aristocratic and inherited all, and they're quite fun, sort of bonkers.
Which those people are great. Yeah,
they are entertaining. Yeah. Or you get the ones who are sort of self-made, hardworking types, and they're normally very buzzy.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we've got some. We're blessed really with some of the customers we've got.
I suppose being again on the restoration side, you get to meet a lot of people in really niche cottage industries as well.
Yeah, very much so.
Great. Oh yes, we make that particular size screw.
Yeah.
Just that.
Of course. And that's where you want to be the guy that makes toilet roll, don't you? Because you make money in consumables that we don't think about every day, like screws and so on. So it's very interesting. I remember meeting a chap a few years back who was part of the Rolls-Royce Club, and he'd been based in Switzerland most of his life, and he'd only moved back over here in his 80s to where he was from originally in Sussex. And part of his job was transferring parts of the machines that made money. Round.
Oh, the mint things. The things that are always in American films.
To make a way to make money. So it was really interesting talking to him how it used to all work.
Yeah, in terms of the security side of it. Yeah.
How it was broken down and moved separately and stuff. And really cool.
Very cool. I knew somebody who was a truck driver for nuclear waste.
Insane.
And that's pretty serious stuff.
Yeah.
And that gets
you knew him.
I knew him. Well, I hadn't talked to him for years, but he was
great funeral.
Everyone was positively glowing by the end. But also, of course, you do have celebrity connections as well, don't you?
Yeah, we've met a few people on the way.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about any of them, or do we say all very, very discerning, and we don't want to talk about that?
I'm not sure. Not sure.
I mean, we've already covered Dom and PJ, so
there you go. That's the top. No, that's the A list.
You can't beat that.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, we've been fortunate to work with some cool people.
What's it like being on the estate of the Dodo Empire? Because you've got Cav there now too.
Well, that's added a whole awesome level on there as well. It's
who's your favourite, Dom or PJ?
I'm going to get a drink. I'll be back in a sec.
The correct answer is cab.
Yes, cab. Good point. There you go. I'll go with that. Yeah, I'll go with that.
How many times have you had to retrim the Dodo van?
Oh, no, all I've done is are we talking about the Berlingo?
Yes.
I've only done bits on that so far, but I'm sure I will do it again at some point. I'm actually doing another project.
Because they keep on coming up with new plans for
the ambulance.
The ambulance. That's cool.
That's very cool.
Berlingo's old school now. I mean, I remember.
Well, it's had a complete redo, hasn't it? Which it does look. It looks insane.
Yeah.
I'm currently doing some seats for the Stianaglos Saab as well.
Oh yeah, it looks awesome.
And no one's seen what they're going in yet.
If you haven't seen the Stianaglos Saab, do go and look on their Instagram
it's
feed.
awesome.
It is. It's super cool. But we were talking to Cav, and he was saying how it had to be trailered everywhere, and it
was the day after he got it.
That was it. And he'd just been to Wales with it.
Yeah, you have to take the front splitter off to get it on a lorry as well.
It's very silly.
Yeah.
Very silly.
But that's what you get. That's the compromise for cool, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. No, I've history with old Saabs like that causing trouble. So
it's cool. It's that was part of the reason I moved to the estate to be
close to them.
Yeah, it's great.
To bathe in the awesome.
Absolutely, have a daily bathing. Yeah. No, it's great fun.
Yeah,
it's great fun. They're a fun bit of the industry, aren't they?
Exactly. They are the heart and soul of the enthusiast side of the market, I would say.
Yeah.
We mentioned briefly earlier, but you have fairly recently been to Goodwood Revival.
Yes.
What now? I've been to Goodwood Revival. I always find awkward because everybody has to dress up, and I like the fact it's old. It feels like I'm young.
For those who don't know, run us through what Goodwood Revival actually is.
So it's a long weekend event where everyone dresses up in 40s and 50s. There's racing. We had Jensen Button and Mike Brundle and Alex Brundle and the guys there this year racing. You get some great people. Keanu Reeves has been over the years. Ryan Atkinson. They did a tribute race to Sterling Moss this year, and the mad thing is you go around the
kind of pit lane,
pit lane and all that area, and you're seeing stripped out gull wings, and you're seeing old GT Ferraris, and they're racing around in 3, 5, 6 speedsters like an inch from each other around corners on grass and stuff. Yeah, it's just insane.
Check it out if you get a chance on Goodwood. They have Goodwood TV, which they put lots of clips on Facebook, and
their socials is strong as well. Actually, their socials are really strong.
They're on point.
It's just an amazing event. You've got dancing tents. You've got an auto
actually
jumble
dancing
area.
Tents or tents that people are dancing in.
Both.
Okay,
that's the diversity that the show has. Yeah, you've got the auto jumble place is great. They've got like vintage flying jackets you can buy, and so if you turn up and you've not quite got the stuff to wear, you can go in a bit of something, and everything else you can buy
for a lot of money, it has to be said.
Some of it, not all of it. Not all of it. I bought a cravat that I have no intention of ever wearing just to get involved. It was brilliant. But they have another bit called Over the Road.
I can see you in a cravat.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I rocked it. I don't know how.
Yeah,
I don't know how.
It worked.
Yeah, it's gone away now anyway. Maybe next year. But the over the road bit's got cinema, so you can just get out of the way of the noisy racing if you want to, and the food and the stands and the exhibition side of it. It's brilliant. Bonhams have got a big bit there.
The auction is always fun. I've got a friend who works for Bonhams, and the setup and the work that goes behind it is insane, massive.
Yeah, the way they just drop that into a field.
Yes.
And you've got to see it. Yeah.
I mean, top tips I would go for there is, first of all, do get dressed up, because otherwise you'll stand out if you don't.
Yep.
Another tip is...
Ironically, you will look more like an idiot if you don't get dressed up.
Yeah, absolutely. It's an absolute guarantee, yeah.
Also, take good walking shoes, because it's quite a trek from the car parks, all the rest of it.
And you'll be walking all day.
You will be absolutely walking all day. And also, don't book a hotel anywhere near, because the prices on the day are ridiculous.
Yes.
And a lot of the nice hotels are actually pre-booked years and years in advance specifically for it.
Yeah.
So you're better off commuting, and then also prepare for all the traffic jams along the M27, A27.
Yeah.
I think last time I did Goodwood, we had to get Airbnbs about 20 miles north of Chichester. Very nice Airbnbs, but
still.
Yeah, my advice would be don't try and get in too early either, because quite a few of the guys that were working there tried to get in at sort of 6-ish this year, and were just stuck, and we rolled in at 10.
Yeah,
and it took 10, us 15 minutes.
Fine. Yeah.
So it's fine.
The parking's all quite well set up.
Really well set up. Yeah, you're in and out. It's it's surprisingly well done, actually.
And with all the celebrities there as well, you do bump into people. And the thing is, there are different levels of celebrity. As you say, there are people who everybody would know.
Yeah.
But there are also what I call automotive celebrities, people who are really kind of hardcore automotive. And you sit there and you think, wow, I saw Ross Brawn at one of them not that long ago. And various others. And, to the man in the street, he's nobody. But to the likes of you and me, he's godlike. So,
yeah, it's amazing.
No, it's an awesome time.
Yeah, it's very cool. Very cool. Exciting event.
So was it your first show since...
Yeah, it was actually. Yeah, it was my first proper show.
No masks or anything?
No, it's very, very well planned.
In the 1940s.
Absolutely, no, it's true.
And no cough now, so
no cough. No, it's gone. It's gone.
The old World War II gas mask.
yeah, hazmat suit, original 40s one.
It's the Blitz, man. You weren't there.
But it's brilliant. Yeah, it's fantastic. Great to be back at shows. Great to see people relaxed, having fun. Nice cars. Good weather. It was amazing this year. Yeah, it's fortunate. Yeah, very good. Long may it continue.
Should definitely be on every petrolhead's bucket list.
Absolutely.
I think more so than the Festival of Speed. I prefer Revival to Festival of Speed. They're different, but
I've not done the Festival of Speed. Richard that works with me has done it a few times and likes it, but they are, from what I've watched online, they are completely different. They're a separate part of the estate to begin with, aren't they? Yeah, it's very much about the uphill climb, isn't it?
They've got lots of different things on a Festival of Speed, so there's rally stations, stuff like that, but it's more of a family event, so there are children. I dislike children immensely.
Yes.
Whereas Revival is more grown-ups.
I think the thing about Festival of Speed, it's all about who has the coolest stand.
Yeah.
And we used to do the Porsche stand there, but you walk around and people like Land Rover show up with a 2-story glass-walled.
Yes,
you see, which you don't get at Revival at all.
No.
It's very chilled.
If you want to see the latest models, you go to Festival of Speeds and you like that sort of thing. If you want to have a really cool day out, then
yeah, it's more of an experience, more immersive, should we say? In Revival.
Oh yeah, it's great.
How did they deal in the past with such itchy clothing? Every time I go and I have to dress up and think it's really itchy. So I was just thinking, while you're here, might as well answer that question.
Warm. Yeah, I have no idea. Hopefully they lined it with something that wasn't itchy.
Yeah, you have to spread goose fat on your body. It's like you're swimming the channel.
Yes, I did do that. Yeah, I did do that. I was fine.
Just more than normal.
Yeah, slightly more. Yeah, just it can't warm up, otherwise it drips off you, doesn't it?
Bit thicker.
Shocking.
Bit thicker. Lovely. Well, what about we do our 10 quickfire questions?
Oh, yes, fire away.
Now, these are something we've just introduced in this series, and they are quite good fun.
Okay. Can I take the fifth at any point or anything? Or?
No.
Okay.
There are, for some questions, no wrong answer.
Okay.
For other questions, there are very definitely wrong answers.
Fantastic.
We haven't, normally we sort of run through them quickly with our celebrity guests before the podcast, but we haven't extended that luxury to you because we're disorganized.
Okay, fantastic.
But it'll be fairly straightforward initially. So question 1, what is your current car/cars?
Daily A3 Sportback, Black Edition.
Black Edition. What? And would you
1.5 petrol, and it's 150 brake.
So is that a 35 or a...
no, because it's not. That's changed on the newer model. Mine's the last of the model before when they started going crazy with 35s and 45s.
Ah, gotcha. Yeah. Very sensible.
Yeah, it's nice though. Nice. Yeah, it's an all-rounder.
And do you have fun cars?
I have an old Mark II Golf driver, auto. Brilliant. You can count the seconds between the gears. It's always good.
Fascinating.
Yes, and I'm just about to dive into the world of old Porsches with a 944 turbo. So that's my project coming up.
Yeah, we've been talking about that.
Yeah, that's going to be good.
Yeah,
that's going to be good. It's going to be a bit of a process. It needs a lot of love.
Well, you're collaborating with a
Pi Performance.
That's
great Porsche company.
What are 944s going for now?
Again, depends if you ask 944 owners or if you look online.
What they're insuring them for and what they're actually worth is two very different figures.
If you were to believe what you look online, the one I'm looking at the moment, you would think with a good restoration would be 35.
Okay.
But a lot of people would say it might only be 25. This one's lacking in history. I've already started with the help of a few people from the Porsche world of grabbing it together. Yeah, I've already got the original build sheet and I've found a lot of the MOTs to prove the mileage.
Porsche's good like that.
Yeah, they're brilliant. There's a company I got put on to in Long Beach. They're great, and you just email them the chassis number, and they send you back tons of information for about £7.
Wow.
So so that'd be a good project.
That'd be fun.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
What was the first car you ever detailed professionally?
Oh dear. First car
that you were kind of paid for beyond pocket money, if you see what I mean.
Yeah. The first car I detailed properly.
Not
As in
properly.
professionally, as in you did a good job, or
Professionally as in commercially, that you were paid for it as
So
as
machine
a business.
polishing, or are we talking just waxing and clay barring? And
that's down to your individual definition of
It is.
professional detail.
I suspect it could be the first car you touch with Alamo.
Right, okay. Well, yeah, God, I don't know about that. I don't think any of those you consider. Probably the first really cool car I worked on when I first started was an 80s V8 Vantage.
Ooh, lovely.
Yeah, and it was a Concours one as well.
Did it have the 550 or the 600 pack? Or
I don't know, actually. But it was incredibly beautiful. It was in one of those inflatable things.
Carcoons.
They have
Yeah.
ridiculously thick carpets in those as well.
Yeah. Yeah, they were
Like proper
they were
shag stuff.
probably 2-inch.
Yeah.
I reckon, something like that. And they had what was lovely in those. And I don't know if you see it in the new ones, but not up till quite recent. They used to have satchel leather in the heel plate so that you wouldn't wear through them because it's so thick.
Yeah.
And it just have a standard sort of double cross stitch through it and then around the outside. It's lovely. Over the top of the shag pile, it sort of made it almost padded. Yeah, it's cool.
It's an 80s Vantage. So is that Living Daylight's 80s Vantage? Or is that the newer one?
Boxy
Have you
Square.
seen the new Bond film?
No,
No,
yet.
I haven't set aside the day it takes to get through. I really want to though, but my partner doesn't like Bond, so I'm going to have to go and watch it on my own when I've got no other chores.
And
to
divorce
do.
us straight afterwards as
I was
well.
about to say I'll come and watch it with you, but I'm now quickly rethinking.
If you haven't seen it, you definitely need to go and see it.
Yeah.
Immediately.
Okay, well,
It's
if you
amazing.
go away.
Yes,
then we'll,
yeah. So there's one in that, actually. I
He
think.
was funny when he made that joke because he had the toolbox thing with jiggles. So it's one of that. Okay, well, that's not useful if we haven't seen it. But
Yeah, Living Daylights. It might be.
you know the Living with the skis that go out the back. It's Timothy Dalton, best Bond.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not
Was
sure
that
about that.
Duran did the
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
that was the
Grace thingy chasing up the Eiffel Tower?
was that Living
No,
Daylights?
there was no Eiffel Tower in the Living Daylights.
Or was it was a tower and
It was a tower. It was just to do with a singer, and then he escaped in an Audi 200 across
Yes,
the border.
that was awesome.
And they
Good.
put a fat man in a thing through an oil pipe,
That's it.
and then they went somewhere eastern, somewhere like Turkey or something, and
You've seen
he
that a
got
lot.
shot.
You've seen that a lot, haven't you?
Only when I was young. I haven't seen it recently again because
they're never on ITV anymore.
No,
You always
but-
used to have one on
They
ITV.
did,
at
yeah, like a
lunchtime.
Sunday or something.
yeah, and that's when I was. I think absolutely was when rewatching them. But no, it's my favourite.
Dalton was
Bond.
still a good James Bond. He was a good James Bond.
I liked it. The thing is, it's always deeply personal, and for me, it was because it was a film, Living Daylights. I was at boarding school, and it was a film when at the end of term, if you'd done well at sports and stuff, which I hadn't, but I was associated with people who had, and if you won the pack, so to speak, you got a treat. You were allowed to stay up till 7:30 at night, which in a Catholic school as a 7-year-old, that's pretty hardcore.
Yeah.
And we were allowed to eat pizza and watch James Bond: Living Daylights on
That's awesome.
on a rear projection TV, and this is
Fantastic.
90s. So yeah,
Yeah.
and that was my favourite day in my whole life.
That sounds amazing.
Probably. Cool. So, Aston Vantage. So, what is your money no object dream car?
Money no object. Either an early Dino, maybe,
As in a
in
246?
silver,
Yeah.
or
In silver. Interesting.
yeah, in
choice.
silver. Yeah, definitely.
What colour was it in the? What was the film? The TV series it was in? Was it not the Patron? It was in the Saint or
Saint?
something, where there was a
was
yellow
there a Dino
Aston
in
Lagonda and a Dino with the two cars that are in it.
Oh, okay. I don't remember.
DBS Lagonda thing. Okay.
I'm not sure, but yeah, silver.
Silver.
Yeah, silver, or 356 possibly
356
Porsche.
Oh, Porsche 355.
Yeah,
I was trying
so
to
like
say
a
Ferrari.
I was thinking Ferrari. Is that 355? I thought.
There might be a
Missed one?
356 from
Like
the
a
60s.
speedster or something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, something along
okay.
those lines.
Would you go, because you're a Porsche man, so you'll be able to answer this, would you go for the A, B, or C revision?
Oh, 356A.
Okay.
Yeah.
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 Hence
Pretty
money,
car.
no objects.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, very pretty car.
Cool.
And simple as well. That's what I like about more that sort of era of cars.
Yeah, well, it was basically a VW Golf with a squishy body on, wasn't
Absolutely.
it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Not a Golf, a Beetle, right?
Beetle. Yeah, when you look at the lump, it's incredibly similar.
Well, boxer engines are the best design of engine,
Yeah.
as I will tell
And the seats
everybody
are
who
very
asks.
similar. If you look at the box weave seat in an A, very
Yeah.
similar to like Carman Gear,
Yeah,
basically exactly.
which are
the same.
lovely cars too as well.
Pretty car.
Yes.
Really pretty
Yes.
car. Yeah.
How many buckets?
Oh, sorry. Or a Pagani Zonda.
Pagani's on.
See, I've always had a thing for them. My son loves new supercars,
Yeah.
and he always says to me, if you had to have a supercar, what would it be? And I said, if it was a ridiculous car, it would be a Pagani Zonda.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah,
See, I've always had a thing for Angelina Jolie, but I still know she's a little bit mental.
Exactly. Yeah. You'd still take her out though, wouldn't you? Occasionally.
No, you tire down.
30 seconds of my life.
Knowing it. Cool beans. So just lowering the tone slightly. How many buckets, sir?
All three.
3.
Yes.
That's good defined answer. We had somebody on who insisted that 2 was enough and you don't need a third. I don't know what's the right or wrong answer here. I'm not bucket independent.
So 3, 1 for wheels,
Yes.
2 for body.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's right.
Yeah.
Because I think while we were mobile for a long time, you didn't want to be putting anything you were putting on wheels on the floor or onto anywhere. You want to keep it in a bucket. It keeps the dirt constantly sort of falling out of it.
Yeah.
Just made sense.
Yeah.
I think that's the right thing.
No, agreed. Ceramic or wax?
Depends.
You made a
doesn't it?
Chewbacca noise there.
That really depends because they're two different markets. They're,
No, this is personal. This is for you.
Well, so for me, in my position at my age, with the lack of time, I've got ceramic all day long.
Okay.
Because I don't have the time to sit and wax a car and prep it and everything else. So therefore,
But you have employees that can do it for you, sure.
and they would do ceramic as well. They're too busy as well, unfortunately. For me, all day long ceramic with that now. But when I was younger, it was always waxes.
Yeah, well, there wasn't an option really, was it?
No, but I think there still probably would have been for me. It probably still would have been that because it was the joy of pre-wax cleansing and clay barring and having all that time, before I had a child. And
The joy of pre-wax cleansing, that's a niche book.
Loved it. Pre-wax
All the
cleansing.
positions.
What's your favourite? Is it lime prime or cleaner wax from something?
What was the orange one that Dodo Juice did?
Well, lime prime was green.
Green, yeah. There was
another one. God, I can't remember.
Because they did lime prime light.
Yeah, they did another one that was orange. It was brilliant.
Okay.
It was a great product, and if you got it in yellows and reds and stuff, it seemed to pop it even more.
You can't be entirely criticised for not being able to remember the entire Dodo Juice back catalogue.
No,
Being about 12,000
I
products.
think it was 0011571.
I know the EAN 13
That's it,
code
that's
of
the one,
every
yeah.
product. Awesome. Again, there's no wrong answer here, really. Ferrari or Porsche? I think we know the answer. Actually, no, we don't.
Always thinking.
He's thinking.
There's smoke coming out.
He's either that or he's touching himself inappropriately under the table.
Both.
Can you retouch yourself appropriately?
Yes.
You can. Sorry, back to your answer.
I guess difficult to answer.
It is. We aim to please and challenge.
Because the Dino's in my list, it's really difficult. But then the 356. I'd probably, as an all-rounder, Porsche.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. There is a wrong answer to this question. Subaru or Mitsubishi? For cars, not sewing machines.
Subaru.
Good. Well done. Correct answer. Tick.
For sewing machines?
Mitsubishi.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Just checking.
Subaru don't do sewing machines.
They might do.
They might do.
Well, strangely enough, they
If they
do
do-
go-karts and lawnmowers
They do every
and
other.
stuff.
They do heavy industry, so they could be like an industrial sewing machine they used to sew buildings
Yeah,
together.
but that's Fujitsu Heavy Industries. That's different from Subaru. It's different from Subaru. Anyway, they're mostly Toyota now.
Or Subarus.
They do great sewing machines
Yeah.
as well.
Do they? Yeah. Oh, wow. Okay. Well, maybe you're right then. It'd be rebadged like a BRZ. Flex or Rupes?
I'd say Rupes because I have very little experience of Flex. Mm-hmm. Well, I have no experience of Flex. So, yeah.
Fair enough. What would be your dream car to detail?
Dream car to detail. Probably a 356A. Something like that, yeah.
Have you done one in the past or?
No, I'm trimming one actually this winter. Mm-hmm. But I've never been
Turning into a short wheelbase.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never been fortunate enough to really work on one to that extent. I'd love to do a concourse on one of those.
Yeah.
Take it apart and start again.
That would be awesome. And it's nice and small as
Yes.
well. You can afford to get all the details right. rather than
Yeah,
the
I think
big-
a lot of the other ones that I thought I wanted to work on, I have worked on since. And
it was a
then,
bit of a disappointment.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Never
some
meet
of the-
heroes.
yeah, well, I find that with American cars.
Yeah.
Because I love muscle cars, but actually now I've worked on some and I don't think I'd want to own one actually, but I like them. I think they're incredibly pretty and they sound insane and everything else. But
Back to Angelina Jolie again.
yes, absolutely. Yeah. yeah.
We're going to get sued. So final question.
Yeah.
Sunday detail or Sunday drive?
Something to buy to detail or to drive?
No. As in you have a Sunday to yourself and
Yes.
you have no family commitments or anything like that. And you have the options of going out for a drive or doing a detail on your car.
At my age, driving all day long. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. 20 years ago it would have been detail and was constantly. If I wasn't on the van I was at home detailing constantly, or at the pub, but generally detailing. Detail all day, pub in the evening.
Get the brasso out.
At the pubs. Absolutely, yeah, that's right. Yeah, any opportunity. Then you get over the hangover the next day by detailing for 8 hours. But yeah, now it drive all day long.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming all the way over here. It was a hell of a trek for you.
Bit of a drive.
Very similar to the trek that PJ made not long ago.
Absolutely, yes. Yeah,
But he did it in a truck.
Better organised, could have come up together, but
Yes. Well, we're
not those, so it sucks.
Yeah. Well, thanks for inviting me. Lovely to see you both.
And we will be back on the microphones fairly soon. So it just remains to say goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me.
Marvellous.